Hi, welcome to Mission Driven Monday. My name is Chantel Adams, and I'm here with Amber Pert. Amber is the founder of an organization called the Wellspring Crew, and I met her a couple of months ago, and this business just really intrigued me because she is all about growing young leaders. And you guys may know that I've led an adventure club for fourth and fifth grade girls for the last 5 or 6 years now, and that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about. So when I heard that Amber was doing that, the first thing I thought was, I have got to connect with her. She has a book series called the Navigator series, and it's all about stories of real life leaders, how they built their brand, their passion for purpose, relationships. She has one on women in STEM. And it's really cool because it's about business, it's about leadership. She really talks about how she takes these kids who are dreamers and turns them into real life doers when they're grown-ups. And I love that because I think that there are kind of two camps. Some people believe that leaders are born, and other people believe that leaders are bred. And so I'd be interested to know what Amber thinks about that. And we're going to jump right into our conversation. So are you ready, Amber?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, every week I ask the same 3 questions to my guests. And I'm going to start with that first question for you. And the first thing I want to know, Amber, is that when you look back over your life and all the things that you've done, and I know that you're an entrepreneur, you work with entrepreneurs, plus you have kind of a regular job, as we call it, a 9 to 5. When you look back over your life, what are you the most proud of?
Well, I wish I had an answer that was straightforward. I reached X amount of sales, or I've, done a specific accomplishment. But as I think about that question and look back over my history, the thing that really does make me most proud are the times that I've had to step outside my comfort zone. And I've realized that's when I've grown the most. I'm a natural introvert. I like to kind of keep to myself and just do my work. And when I think back, kind of especially along this project that I've been working on, the times I've had to be in sales mode, talk to strangers and promote, and sell and inform total strangers, those are some opportunities that I feel like I totally did something I wasn't comfortable with, and I succeeded. I was able to do it, and it took some stomach muscles tightening and uncomfortable moments. But for me to accomplish, a goal, it takes me to grow. And the only way I'm going to grow is stepping outside of that comfort zone. At other times where I've had to grow is, asking people to participate in my project or to interview people. And times where I'm just having to reach outside of that is definitely the most growth. And I look back and I see that when I was younger, I was very comfortable in that zone. And the lack of growth is kind of sad as an adult looking back. That was something I wish I would have pushed myself more to do as a younger person, to be even better at that as an adult. So that's something that I definitely have encouraged my kids to do, is to push themselves outside of when they're uncomfortable. There's a growth opportunity there.
Yeah. I am an introvert too. And I think as a child, especially, I held a lot of my ideas really close. And then as I got older, I was afraid to share my ideas because I thought somebody might steal them. But then what I found was the more I spent time with entrepreneurs and other people who were working and building businesses, it was that the more that you shared what you were working on, it wasn't that people wanted to steal your idea. It was that they wanted to help you with your idea. Or more importantly, that you made a connection that would just help what you were doing go a little bit further. I think when I started the adventure club for fourth and fifth grade girls, I thought, I wish there were these resources like what you make. And I thought, I have to do that myself. And now I've realized, as I began talking about what I'm doing, then I meet people who are already doing that, and we can partner together, and how awesome that is.
Yeah. And there's also, when I think of, one time another person asked me about my personal growth, and seeing that, when I was younger, I also just tried to skate by as well, and tried to I would do really well in school, but I wouldn't take the extra challenging class to push myself to the next level. And I missed an opportunity there to grow. And that's something that I just really value now, to see it in myself. Like, I want to learn about this, or I want to experience this. So I need to push myself more to be the best version of myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, when you think then about where you are right now and what you're learning as you're building this business, you have young kids who are probably like right smack dab in the middle of your like target market even. What do you feel like you're learning right now in this season?
I mean, so much every day. It's exhausting. So I sleep very well at night because my brain is overwhelmed. But right now in my season, I feel like a lot of what like professional growth, I would say, is managing people. And I've always been very comfortable also as an introvert, like working on my own projects and working as a solopreneur and working on things in my little zone. That I'm in a management position now where I am working with people alongside them and also inspiring them and leading them, but needing to also lead by example. And I'm into finances, so numbers are always a really big thing for me. So I'm reading a book right now, for example, that's Measure What Matters. So getting key statistics and numbers to items that are important to achieve an objective. So that is a tool for me that I'm learning on and reading about it, practicing it in my job as well, to lead and inspire those that I'm managing. So right now it's a lot of management training and reading about it and then practicing it in the real world, working world as well.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool because I know that you are the operations director and finance director for a co-working space. So there's a lot of different kinds of entrepreneurs that are there. So it seems like that would be really valuable knowledge for you to have about how to grow businesses and to look at their correct metrics. Because sometimes, I don't know, I think that we're looking at the wrong things to figure out how we're doing. And the money is the most important one, right?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most important ones. And I love, like I said, a numbers person. So I love looking at the details of a business and seeing, what's going well, what's challenging, and then how those numbers relate to each other. And then, how that also is a teaching tool for, my kids, and a part of my project as well, is that I think there's a great, this may be a project down the line, but, getting financial knowledge into the next generation as well. Like that's something that I feel like is really missing. And if at some point when I have some free mind space, I'll work on that as well. But that's something that I love talking about, numbers and dollars and how it relates in the business world, and to kind of train up the next generation to not only be business financial minded, but also personal financial, prepared for how that looks like.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important thing right now, because I read recently that, for example, millennials are worse off financially than any other previous generation. And so we don't want to perpetuate that, right? I mean, this new generation, like Generation Z and the generation after them, that's something important that they need to know. And it's not something that they're learning in school.
Right. It's not a big lesson in school. However, I do like to see when it is in action. As I mentioned on a personal time, was that my son's third grade class is working on a school store project right now. And this little project that's lasted a few weeks has so many components in it that I just, professionally, I love to see that kids are learning this, where they're learning about a product, they're learning how to market a product, learning how to create the product and, produce it, and then how to disseminate that information and how to sell it to people. So, and then the financial aspect, if they're selling, my son's project is it's called a fortune flyer. So it's an airplane with a nice quote and affirmation on the inside, and selling them for 25 cents each. So we've calculated how many he's made and what that upfront cost. So it's a really fun way to see that age group work on those business skills that translate to life skills and getting them just prepared for the life as an adult, because they're only little people for a short period of time. So
yes. And those kind of projects are so fun. I used to love it when we got to do projects like that in school.
Yes, I did see way too many paper airplanes around my house. So I'm ready for the project to be over with. But to see him just like super excited about his idea and selling it to his classmates. So
I know. Well, there's so many great things about that. I mean, there's the self-esteem that comes just from creating something. And then, being able to sell it and seeing really tangible results. Like, I'm selling these for 25 cents each. If I sell 100, then I'm going to make $25.
Yeah. He's already figuring out where he can put those funds afterwards.
Yes. That's amazing. I love it. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about your future. So when you think about your aspirational self, the future you, what do you think about, Amber? I mean, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. So if I were to think my aspirational self, I feel like words I would use to describe my vision for what I'm setting forth for myself are inspirational. I wrote them down: inspirational, reliable, and the ability to seek to understand. So for inspirational, that's like so many things I'm working on. Whether it's in my job where I'm working to inspire my colleagues and those that I'm leading, I want to inspire them to for them to be the best versions of themselves and how to reach for a goal. I am a small group leader at our church, and I greatly desire to always mentor young girls, not only on the faith side, but also as growing into an adult. There's so many layers of a relationship when, mentoring younger students, that I always want to be a source of inspiration, and not through just great examples. I went through a hard time too in middle school, so we can chat about this and I can tell you'll get through it.
Yeah.
And then seeking to understand, this is something that's really important to me through basically every aspect, personally, with my family, with my friends, and also at work, is to always, I think I'm a pretty good listener, but also listening to understand other people's perspectives. And I think that helps in so many aspects of life to share my opinion, but also understand theirs, and seeking to understand why they feel something or where their perspective's coming from.
Right.
And I think there's always a great compromise of having time to listen and seeking to understand someone else's perspective of, why they came to a certain idea or a feeling.
Right.
And reliable is kind of, again, it's also in personal and professional as well. I very much am a goal and task oriented person where I make sure, May's a challenge, but outside of May, I typically find great joy in following through, being reliable to those who are asking of something from me, whether it's, sending something to school or at work, finishing a report on time. There's a lot of reliable aspects of my life that I want to make sure that people view me as a reliable source. I will follow through with what I say. So those are things, that kind of adjectives I constantly seek to make sure that those are displayed in my life, personally and professionally.
Yeah. So you said too that I really have never heard anyone say before, but I loved him. Often people will say that they want to be inspirational. I think that is a universal wish for our lives. Yeah. We all want to be inspirational. We all want to make the world a better place. I mean, we may not use that exact word, but some sense of, bringing more joy into the world and, being a good influence. But reliable, I mean, of course, don't we all want to have a friend who is reliable, a coworker who is reliable, a mom who is reliable? I mean, that's a really awesome aspirational self. And then the other thing that you said about seeking to understand, and that's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately, because, social media has just made it so easy to share our opinions, and everyone has an opinion. And I think I've shared this on a previous Mission Driven Monday, but it's a quote that I read in Father Gregory Boyle's book, his new one that is called Barking to the Choir, where he says, we should stand in awe of the burdens that people carry rather than in judgment of the way that they carry them.
That's
and
awesome.
I remember just reading that and thinking, yeah, I just want to understand where people are coming from. And I feel like so many issues that people are so black and white on are so complex and multi-layered. And we would all just do better to just say, hey, tell me what you're feeling. Help me understand better.
Yeah. And kind of another layer of that I wanted to kind of go along with seeking to understand understanding perspectives, but also understanding like knowledge and experiences of people, because that kind of would help me grow and help me grow those around me.
Yeah.
Learning from people that have experienced different things, have a knowledge of different things. I think that there's some times where we just need to be quiet and listen to what we can absorb from other people through their, what they've learned in business, learned from parenting. It's a great value to just quiet your mind and just absorb what can be shared from others.
Yeah. And you've done that and you're doing that. I will post a link to Amber's website, Wellspring Crew, because those real life stories have come from people that you have interviewed, right? And that have shared their knowledge with you, and that you've just, written it down and absorbed it. And now you're sharing that with us and helping younger generations understand it so that they can grow up with people who have been inspirational.
Right.
And I really love that. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're with me today. And I hope that you all enjoyed this conversation. Please join us for another edition of Mission Driven Monday next week.